They don't want you to clap at a theatre in case somebody's got anxiety. Fuck off.
Welcome everybody to episode 64 of WatchRoss, the one where we're not looking for Eric, we're looking for Steve. Steve? Steve? Nah, it's not here. Look, shit. Steve? Nah, still not here. Steve? Steve? Nah, it's not under there. Hey, mate, you haven't seen Steve, have you?
No, mate.
No one's seen him, Petch. It's too cold for this. Let's go back to the apartment, mate. Steve? What are you doing here?
Well, where the fuck have you been?
Hey, I've been looking for Steve.
Yeah, well, I've been at WatchRoss, but you tell he's not working. I had to break in. You need to get that lock looked at. It's shite.
Well, you know what? I only had that lock put on about 3 weeks ago. 120 quid, that.
Well, you'll need a new one now.
That's not even a joke. Here he is. We found Steve Evets in the house, aka Farmer Jim from Brassic right now.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. Eric Bishop from Looking for Eric. That was a wicked film, man.
I've enjoyed it. Ken Loach, master as usual.
I just can't believe you got to work with like Eric Cantona, though.
Yeah, well, I couldn't believe it because I didn't know he was going to be in it.
Is that really you?
Yes.
Say something in French then.
Et je suis Eric Cantona.
Really?
Yeah. Really.
Oh my God. Right, well, we're talking all about that. We're here to record a podcast for actsonthis.tv. If you're an actor and you're not a member of the website, what you're doing, get yourself over, get a membership. We're going to be recording a podcast right now. We're going to be talking literally just about everything, Steve. All about your life.
If people are interested in what I've got to say, fine, but I think I'm here probably under false pretenses. I'm not sure what knowledge, if anything, I can impart to anybody.
It's got a lot of knowledge. 79 credits on IMDb. Probably the most experienced actor we've ever had on the site.
Yeah,
so
but that doesn't really mean anything because The Sun is the best-selling newspaper in the country and it's shit. So just because you got 79 credits doesn't mean anything.
Well, we will see. We will see. You're going to see probably 3 or 4 clips of it now. We're going to be back after that for an exclusive chat. And if you want to see the whole thing, listen to the whole podcast, actsonthis.tv. Get yourself over, grab a membership, and it'll change your acting career. So if you're ready, Steve.
I'm ready when you are.
This is the Steve Evets podcast. Steve Evets, welcome to my apartment. Welcome to actsonthis.tv. Thank you for being here. We've got our Christmas coffees.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks for having me, Ross.
Honestly,
James.
mate, it's such a pleasure. I feel like I know you, like, already. We actually only met, half an hour ago.
Yeah.
But we've got so many mutual mates. I've had Rick Carr on the podcast, the guy who does your self-tapes.
Yeah.
We've had Jason Wingard on the podcast.
Brilliant, Jason.
Director of Pavement, the film that you're in. Rachel Shenton's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
You did a Christmas film that's coming out with her, Very British Christmas.
Yeah.
It's going to be available on Showtime, I think. Go and watch it, people, when it comes out. So yeah, I feel like I know loads about you, and I followed you on Twitter, mate, for such a long time, and you are like one of the biggest reasons I wanted to get you on. You're probably the most authentic actor. You can tell me if this is true or not, but like, you just don't seem, in a really good way, to really kind of like, you're not crippled by anybody's opinion of you on Twitter. You just don't give a shit in terms of like, I imagine, of like, it just seems like you're just super authentic. This is me. Put myself out there, like it or lump it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Twitter, it's bullshit. Take it or leave it. I think you have to realise how absurd things are before you engage with things. And the way I look at it is, when the Nobel Peace Prize has been named after the guy who invented dynamite, and Prince Philip was president of the World Wildlife Fund, and he blows pheasants' heads off for fun.
Yep.
And Tony Blair became Middle Eastern peace envoy and is responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands of Middle Eastern people, then you know the world is fucked up and twisted. So why conform to that twisted ideal? I'm pretty much a live and let live, but when I hear bullshit, and sometimes I have to confront it, other times I don't bother because, let's face it, arguing on Twitter is pointless.
Yep.
It's like fucking for chastity. It doesn't compute. It's like two dogs barking through a glass window, and when you open the door, they both run away.
Yeah.
It's pointless. It's nonsense. Nothing gets resolved. And these days, it usually ends up with an insult saying you're either a Nazi, you're a snowflake, you're a boomer, or you're all three somewhere along the line. So what I try and do is sometimes chuck a metaphorical hand grenade in there, and then run away like the coward I am.
Just leg it.
But I think everything should have a little bit of humour in it, because otherwise you end up stewed in hate and bile, and there's far too much of that on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on Facebook. I don't know about that. I'm a bit on Instagram, but I very rarely use it. I like Twitter. I only went on it to follow FC United, but I kind of got a bit addicted to it.
You're big on it now,
and I
mate.
like having fun on it. I do.
Your CV's mega, mate. Like, you've done so much good stuff. I mean, you kind of came into the forefront of stuff with, I'm going to get your IMDb up, with Looking for Eric, mate. Such a good film. Ken Loach. But you'd done loads of stuff before that.
Yeah, I had done loads of stuff before that. I've been around for years before that, but the problem I had was I'm not trained. I've never been trained, so I was very, very raw, and I did start, when I was in the business, you had to have an equity card.
Yeah.
So we had to form a variety group in order to get the equity card. When I got the equity card, I did do some extra work. I soon figured out that that wasn't what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was skint, but I stopped doing the extra work because I knew it was detrimental to trying to get lines. But I couldn't get lines because nobody had taken me seriously. I didn't have an agent. So I spent a lot of time at the Actors Centre when it was near Granada TV.
Right, okay, tell us about that then.
Well, the Actors Centre was a great place. It was an old building near Granada TV. I think on the 6th floor was the Actors Centre, and they rented out rehearsal rooms and stuff like that. I think I must have worked with every fringe theatre company in Manchester at the time.
Right.
Maiden Theatre Company, 0161 Theatre Company. But I got these jobs at the Actors Centre, there was a notice board. And in fact, that's where I got a lot of short films from. A lot of students advertised there looking for actors, and I hadn't done any film. So I applied to these people.
I tell people this, right, this is something that pisses me off, right? Okay, because I think that's a really great thing to do. Okay, there's people who are looking for showreel material, or they're looking for an agent, and they're like, oh, but I can't get an agent. I've not done any work. I can't get any work, so I've not got an agent. And they have nothing to show the agent of their ability. I'm like, there comes a point where you just go, I have to work for free.
Absolutely.
Right? And get involved with student films, and if they're quality, like do a bit of research, look at the other films these students have made if they've done anything in the past, and if you think it's going to be decent, get involved. But this whole thing of like, I'm an actor, you wouldn't ask a plumber to work for free. I'm like, fuck off. There's not 100,000 plumbers out there looking to plumb my bathroom.
I saw it as gaining experience because I hadn't been in front of a camera really. I knew nothing about hitting marks. I didn't know what a wild track was. I didn't know about a long shot, a medium, a two shot, a close up. I didn't know anything about that. So that helps me learn my way around the studio and how to behave and continuity and jumping from scene to scene. But, if you go in on day one and you're doing scene 52, you need to know where your character's at mentally for that. It's not enough to just remember the words. So I think if you've not done anything, it might not be good enough for a show reel. But that doesn't matter at this point because you need the experience to learn. So when you do get in front of a proper outfit, you know how to behave. You know what your first marks are. You know what your cues are. You know what's happening when someone says we're going for a wild track. It's all invaluable experience. And if you're just going to sit at home and wait for somebody to knock on the door and offer you a part in something because you've been working on your abs or you've had your eyebrows plucked, then, go and fucking do something else.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing extra work. I had no money. I was living on my own now. My kids were with my missus. It was tough. I was willing to do anything, any job, and I did do any job. I was at the Actors Centre. I was joining theatre companies there. I was artistically starting to get fulfilled, although I wasn't earning any money.
Yep.
But it was all for experience. And then I figured the best thing to do was to join an actors cooperative, which is a good way forward for struggling actors.
Tell people just about how that works, because it's not something we've covered a lot on the podcast.
Okay, well, an actors cooperative is exactly what it says. It's a bunch of actors who get together and basically you are your own agent.
Yep.
You do have access to all the information of casting. You are an agency. However, the downside for me is you have to do days in the office.
Yeah.
So if you've got a full-time job, you can't do that. I didn't have a full-time job. However, I did not like doing the days in the office. I was with one first in Stoke. I think they were called Circuit. I didn't do my days in. I just wanted to do the acting. I wasn't a good team player. I was probably selfish, if truth be told. But I didn't want to spend more time in the office ringing around. I wanted to be out there doing stuff.
Yeah.
So I think they asked me to leave, or we left on mutually. Then I joined Direct Personal Management in Leeds, which was run by Daphne Franks, really. You have to pay to join an actors cooperative, but you're a shareholder in it. Mm-hmm. You are your own agent, and when you're not in the office, the people in the office will get you jobs. However, here's where it breaks down for me. Us actors are really sort of insecure and all that. I am, we all are.
Yeah.
But when a new actor wants to join an actors cooperative, you vote on if they want to join. And people veto you because someone will go, oh, hang on a minute.
Too close to me.
Steve Evets, scruffy bastard, unkempt hair, beard. I've got a beard. I've got scruffy hair. I'm an unkempt bastard. He'll be getting my work. I veto him. Where they should be thinking, oh, hang on. If there's two scruffy bastards with beards, we've both got a shot at getting some money for the agency.
Yeah.
So they start vetoing things. I joined Direct Line. I stopped doing office work there. They wanted to find me. Daphne Franks, bless her. Daphne, I love you. She fought my corner. I was bringing money into the agency then because I was starting to get bits.
Yep.
I was getting lines and stuff. Little interesting jobs. Daphne fought my corner. And I was doing a good body of work. And then Looking for Eric came along. And the brief was Ken Loach is looking for Mancunians aged between 40 and 50. And I fit the brief.
Yep.
I went forward. I was looking at, I got about 9 recalls, loads of improv and all. Anyway, I got the job. But the point I'm trying to get at is the Actors Cooperative was good. It got my foot in the door. Mm-hmm. And I made a business decision, a career decision. Once I'd done Looking for Eric and it came out, and we went to Cannes Film Festival with it. Believe it or not, I then got nominated for Best Actor at the European Film Awards.
Yes.
I didn't win, but I got nominated.
That's amazing, though,
so
isn't it?
London agents started sniffing round.
Yep.
And I made a career move to go with them. Some people in the Actors Co-op didn't like that.
Right.
But my attitude was, I am never going to get another chance like this. I've done my time, sat there skint with no work. I've done my groundwork. I've done my apprenticeship. I am grabbing this opportunity with both hands and I don't care. Again, very, very selfish, but we have to be motivated by something. And in my case, it was a desperation to work and do good work and get rewarded for it. We were in the bedroom and my character steals a bit of weed off his son, gets stoned, talks to a poster of Eric Cantona, turns his collar up like Cantona and says something to him. And it was cut, do it again. Cut, do it again. So
straight into it, Steve. Straight into there you go.
About 7 takes of this. And I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? And he said, no, it's good. We need to tweak the lights. Go outside, have a cigarette. I went outside, I had a cigarette. When I came back in, he put these black flats up and he said, well, we'll do one more. So I did now what I've done 7 times. Now I'm lulled into a false sense of security. So I say what I said to the poster, something like, have you ever done anything you're ashamed of? And this voice behind me went, well, have you? Well, I turned when I eventually
That's like see when you turn, you go, Eric, is it really you?
Yeah, I turned around and it was Eric Cantona.
Oh my God.
Stood, about 5 feet away from me, just lit perfectly. And it was shocking.
my nephew, my brother's son, was given, like, bless him, his shout out to him. He's an absolute legend, but he came last in like this judo thing or something at school, got absolutely battered, still got a trophy. It's like, you can't give out 8th place trophies because we're creating this ridiculous entitlement in society. And when people grow up and realize that there is not even a 2nd place trophy in this game, they can't handle it. They end up crying and they just end up feeling like shit.
I agree. But what people should realize that failure is normal.
Yep.
There is nothing wrong with failing. It is not abnormal. You are not substandard as a human or a person if you fail. It's rare to succeed. Everybody fails and everybody should fail because it helps you strive for more. You can't win at everything and you shouldn't win at everything. Where do we end up? Like you say, 10 people, you've all got the part.
Yep.
You'll be it on Monday, you'll be it on Tuesday. No. You got it, you didn't. It doesn't mean you're rubbish. It means you wasn't right for that job. You might have not been cast because the casting director has already got the main character and they're casting around them, so it's a believable family, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's many reasons why you might not get the job, and it's not just down to, you know, your audition wasn't good enough or you forgot the words. It's because, do you fit in the overall picture, in the style of the thing, in the tone of the thing? Failure is normal. Embrace it. Don't be depressed about it. Don't be ashamed about it. Don't hang your head in shame. Say, I failed that. Let's go on to the next one.
Brassic, mate.
Brassic.
I freaking love it. I ended up on the cutting room floor in season 1. Season 2 is going again now. You're filming that right now. Tell us about Joe's amazing. Danny, Danny who writes the show, Joe's kind of like the creator, Joe Gilgan, Danny Brocklehurst. Danny's going to be on the podcast pretty soon.
Brilliant.
At what point did you kind of like hear the project, and what was your audition like for Farmer Jim?
Well, first I heard is my agent rang me up and said, they want to see you for a new show called Brassic, and they want you to read for the part of Farmer Jim. So they sent me a couple of scenes, and I think it was the one where we paint the pony. We paint the white pony black.
It's ridiculous.
So I went down, I learned it, and I figured out how I was going to do it. And when I got there, the casting director was there, Joe was there, the producer, the director, and all that.
There was loads of people in the room for me. Was everyone there for you?
Yeah. It was about 5 or 6 people, I think.
Yeah. And Joe's brilliant at putting people at ease, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. I just done my take on it, and I just got the part. But there was a guy outside who looks like a farmer.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, here we go.
Did you have the beard at that point?
I had a bit of stubble. I don't think I had a full beard.
Because this is proper farmer beard now.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, it's. But the thing is, the scene was where we painted the white pony black, and the opening line was, "It's blonde." Oh, no, sorry. They get the pony and it's white.
Yep.
And Jim looks at Vinny and says, "It's blonde." And he says, "Well, you wanted a pony." Yeah, but anyway, no one's going to recognise it. But what I did with it, when they went action, I didn't say it's blonde. I looked at an imaginary pony with disgust. I looked at Vinny. I looked at the pony again with a bit of building anger, and I went,
there you go, everybody. So you've just seen 3 or 4 clips of what was another epic podcast. An hour and 20 minutes of absolute fire there, Steve. He says his bullshit is not so good. I just want to expand on a couple of things before we wrap up, because I know you want to get off. Well, actually, just one thing. And we speak about it quite a lot on these podcasts. But we were talking about there, ultimately failure as an actor and stuff, but the fact that there is no prize for second place, it just isn't, right? And we live in a world these days where I'm seeing schools, and my nephew has had this, where he'll take part in sports day, he'll come last, and he'll get a trophy for coming last. And I love it in a way of going, oh, let's make kids feel good. But ultimately, when they get out of school and they get into this world, if they want to enter the acting industry, they realise that life doesn't work like that. Okay, you don't get the part. There's one part, you either get it or you don't. But people struggle with that when they don't, and they look at it as a failure. Just expand on, we talked a little bit about failure in there and actually how it's the foundation for success.
I think so, yeah. It's normal to fail. You can't all win. It's just as simple as that. And there seems to be a generation of kids growing up who don't know the meaning of it. And the first time they hear the word no or you can't is when they've left and they've got a job. And even in some jobs, that's not even an option. It just sets people up to be living in a bubble that is just not reality. And I think it's detrimental to, first of all, your mental health, your development as a human being and a person, and your social skills. All this is developed from everything that you experience in your life from a kid, from falling over, scuffing your knee. They don't even want that to happen now. They don't want you to clap at a theatre in case somebody's got anxiety. Fuck off. No, I'm sorry. If they say, oh, it's a sudden explosion of noise. No, it's not. You don't just clap in random places at the theatre. Yep. When the lights are going down on the first day and the curtains coming across, you clap. Yep. You know it's coming. At the end of it, when the music comes up and everybody takes a bow, you know the claps are coming. Fuck off. What next? I'm walking along the street. A car's coming past too fast. Stop driving cars. Fuck off. Stop it, please. Have your bit of anxiety. You know, face your demons. If you're scared of mice, go to a pet shop and look at a mouse. Stroke the mouse. If you're scared of spiders, watch a program about spiders. You know, at least have a little go. Instead of just saying, I don't like that, I don't want anybody around me. I'm sorry. You're living in a warped reality, a parallel universe. And then it just encourages psychosis and more anxiety. And then when you do get a bit of a surprise, you can't cope with it. Yeah. Because you've not had the tools to roll with the punches. Take your shit along with everybody else. That's all I can say. I don't want to be detrimental to anyone who has a problem, but please take a step into reality. Live in the world that I live in and my kids. I was out with my granddaughter. If I got her some sparklers, I told her not to touch them. Right. I told her, I let her hold it. I held it with her. At the end, she touched it. She cried. I kissed her, blessed her better. She's learned not to touch a sparkler. She wasn't injured. You didn't have to rush her to hospital. I got one when I was a kid. You know, she touched a sparkler that was too hot. I told her not to. She found out for herself. She's learned a lesson. I guarantee you, next time she has a sparkler, she won't go near it. Yeah. So she's learned something. Yeah. I'm not going to remove sparklers because it causes her anxiety. I'm not going to switch the TV over if somebody with a sparkler comes on. I'm not doing it because it's not needed. I said to her, what do you learn about sparklers? Don't touch them when they're done. Job's done. Life lesson.
Mic drop, mate. Honestly, this is one of the best vlogs I've ever done in my life. Do you know what? My mum and dad told me not to pick up charcoal out of the barbecue as a child. What did I do? I went over and I picked it up because it had gone grey and I thought it was cold. No, it definitely wasn't. Ultimately, the message here, actors, is start taking some freaking risks in your life, right? As long as the consequences are not death, do it. You know, make that film, write that script, write to a casting director, send that email, make that phone call. Stop fannying about because, as we found out in Steve's podcast, life can end very quickly, mate, can't it?
Indeed.
So yeah. All over in a second, so use it wisely. Thank you so much for watching. Please get over to actsonthis.tv right now, grab your membership, listen to that podcast. Honestly, it will inspire the shit out of you. It's going to motivate you. It's going to suffocate your excuses. It definitely will, mate. Honestly, I swear to God. Social media's up right now. Reach out, let us know. If we can do anything for you, and let us know that you have listened. We'll be back next week. God knows who with, Steve. No idea yet, but we shall find out. Until then, you know what time it is.
It's home time.
But it's also time to
insert the catchphrase.
Yes, it is. 3, 2, 1. Bye for now. Thank you so much for watching this episode. It really would mean the world to me if you would leave a comment telling me what you enjoyed and what you would like to see more of next time. If you want to catch more episodes, head over to facebook.com/WatchRoss or youtube.com/WatchRoss. Make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on. I'll be back real soon. Bye for now. Definitely not going in there again.